This is Living Power, Special HD Edition.
In fact, this passage, I put in this on the screen, the words about me. How precious about me are your thoughts, O God. And the reason I did that is because that's exactly what the Hebrew means here. God thinks about you all the time. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How precious about me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. God thinks about you all the time. If you are so well planned, so well designed, and destined by God, doesn't it just make sense that He has something pretty awesome in store for you at the end of this journey? Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't despair. You are worth far too much to God. Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24. That was the apparent conclusion that David came to at the end of this song. Search me, O God. Know my heart. Test me. Know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me and lead me in the way everlasting. What he was saying was, God, please keep working in my life. Test me if you have to, but know that I'm anxious. And if there's something offensive in my life, lead me to the right way, the eternal way. That last phrase is a curious one. It's an affirmation that God is up to something eternal in your life. What is happening on earth, what is happening on life here on earth, is a preparation for eternal life. We are, after all, eternal beings. The Apostle Paul described it this way in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 and 4. Now we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. For while we are in this tent, we groan and are burdened, because we do not wish to be unclothed, but to be clothed with our heavenly dwelling, so that what is mortal may be swallowed up by life. Now the Apostle Paul points out two very important things in this passage. First of all, we are eternal beings. You are an eternal being, though you are currently in a temporary state. I love the way that he describes it. He says we're living in tents. We're not in permanent buildings. We're all living in tents. And I don't know about you, but my tent's getting a little warm. But that's what we are. We are living, the you that is inside that body is living in a tent, essentially. You're not in a permanent building yet. Someday you will be, but not yet. Secondly, catch this. Catch the last phrase of verse 4 there. When we die, we are, look at those last four words, swallowed up by life. Did you get that? We're not swallowed up by death. We're swallowed up by life. This passage affirms that there are two phases of life. There's the mortal life and the immortal life. The death is the passing, if you will, the transition, the graduation from mortality to immortality, from the temporary to the eternal. That's what death is. That's all it is. And what is happening here on earth is part of God's eternal plan for you. You ain't seen nothing yet. I know it's not good grammar, but it's outstanding theology. So God has put this tremendous value on your life because He has eternal plans for you. God has eternal plans for you. That's why it was so important for Him to pay the penalty for your sin on the cross. If He hadn't have done that, you would have no way to fulfill His eternal plans for your life. For that reason alone, you are worth so much to Him. He was wanting and willing to pay whatever the price for you. And the final high price was death. Romans 5:8 says it this way: God demonstrates His own love for us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Now get this, when Jesus died on the cross, what He was saying was, you, personalize this verse, you are worth more than my death. That's what Jesus was saying on the cross. He was saying, you are worth more than my death. Personalize it. Say it inside, in your mind. Say, I am worth more than Christ's death. Jesus said on the cross, I am worth more than his death. I am more important to him than his death. That's what Jesus was saying. I am worth more than my death. What Jesus was saying was, I can make an investment in you because I know you are worth it. Wow. When Jesus hung on the cross, say it in your mind, say it in your heart. When Jesus hung on the cross, he was saying he could make an investment in my life because I am worth it to him. You may not feel worth it now. If we could see the future, we'd see it differently. But while we can only see the present and the past, we need to know that God sees beyond all of the present and the past, and he sees the future. All we see is the past. All we see is the present. We have some insight to the future because the Word gives that to us. But God sees beyond all the past and the present into the future. And guess what? He knows he made a good investment in you.
Looking for a Bible study that's focused on the practical application of the Bible? Check out our website at theopenclass.com.